News 2.
On World News Tonight this Sunday, breakthrough in East Timor. Indonesia caves in and the U.S. steps up to help keep the peace. New York City takes on the killer mosquito and the surprising culprit that may have started it all. When getting well means getting killed, the compelling case pitting medicine against the law. And police and firemen putting their heads together for a good cause.
All right, Chief.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight, Sunday.
Good evening, I'm Carol Simpson. Troubled East Timor can now expect some help from international peacekeepers to stop the bloodshed there. After intense worldwide pressure, Indonesia's president backed down today and will now allow a UN force into the region. The White House welcomed the news, saying the move brings Indonesia back from the brink. U.S. troops are expected to provide support in a, quote, limited role. ABC's John Cochran is with President Clinton in New Zealand. John?
Carol, there is enormous relief here that the stalemate with Indonesia seems to have ended. But American officials emphasize one word: seems.
This summit of Asian and Pacific nations is supposed to be about economics, and it is, but not in the way it was intended. American officials are convinced it was largely the threat of economic sanctions that prompted Indonesia's President Habibie to make his dramatic announcement. He will accept foreign troops in East Timor.
Too many people have lost their life since the beginning of the unrest, lost their homes and security. We cannot wait any longer.
While American officials believe Habibie really does want to end the violence, they do not trust the Indonesian military. So the U.S. and other countries will maintain the threat of economic sanctions until the peacekeeping force arrives.
I was glad, obviously, that the military leaders were surrounding President Habibie because clearly I believe they've been calling the shots here.
Australia may head that force, and under constant prodding from Australia's Prime Minister Howard, President Clinton has agreed to provide limited help.
What we have been asked to do so far relates to airlift. A lot of countries are going to contribute troops. Someone needs to take them to the theater. Relates to transportation, communications, intelligence, and the possibility of some engineering work. All of that would require some presence on the ground in East Timor, but no one has asked us for any combat troops.
The United States already has 3 warships in the region capable of providing communication support and helicopters to airlift civilians if that becomes necessary. And even though Americans would not be patrolling the streets and countryside as they have in Kosovo, several hundred U.S. troops might still go to East Timor. President Clinton will want the approval of Congress, and early indications are he will get it.
If the U.S. can be supportive in terms of support, like logistics and communications, I think probably we would want to do that.
And that is all Congress may want Americans to do.
I believe the Australians, the Malaysians, and others should handle the actual peacekeeping responsibilities.
Despite the relief here, American officials emphasize they do not know how long it will take for peacekeeping troops to arrive in East Timor. And until they do, no one is safe there. Carol?
Thank you. John Cochran reporting from Auckland, New Zealand. Indonesian President Habibie's decision to allow the troops in is being welcomed by the people of East Timor. ABC's Mark Litke is in Indonesia.
Tonight's announcement sounds at least like the lifeline the East Timorese have been praying for. At the UN compound in East Timor, where 1,000 refugees remain under siege, there was enormous relief.
There were just huge smiles. Women hugged each other. Men kind of almost ceremoniously shook hands. Enormous grins on their faces.
But the future for the East Timorese is far from secure. As a UN team visited the capital, Dili, this weekend, there was a semblance of law and order, as if someone had ordered the violence just switched off. But the Indonesian soldiers providing security were the same ones who have aided and abetted the vicious militiamen. And they could be seen peering down on the city from nearby hills, waiting for the UN team to depart. As one terrified woman put it, we'll all be murdered if the UN ever abandons us. In fact, there is no UN in the rest of East Timor, no one to protect the thousands of refugees being held in makeshift camps and guarded by the same militia who drove them from their homes. Complicating the humanitarian crisis, no one in Indonesia can really say for certain who's calling the shots right now, the civilian government or the military. There is no guarantee that all Indonesian troops will accept peacekeepers, though a military spokesman tonight says they will. Even the Armed Forces Chief, General Wiranto, admits there are renegade units beyond his control. In Indonesia, most people are usually in the dark when it comes to the military.
Understand them as little as you understand them. It's just very, very dark.
Tonight, the fate of the East Timorese still depends on so much they can't control. Despite the promise that help is on the way, most will continue to fear for their lives. Mark Litke, ABC News, Jakarta.
And at a party in Jakarta attended by retired military officers, this odd footnote to the story. Indonesia's powerful military general Wiranto dedicated this song to foreign journalists to explain his emotional connection to East Timor. Indonesian President Habibie appeared to enjoy the performance. Turning to news in the U.S., a strange sight amid the skyscrapers of Manhattan today, spraying for killer mosquitoes. The number of suspected encephalitis cases jumped to 89 today, and 3 people have died. Some scientists are now pointing to a surprising suspect behind the scare. Here's ABC's Jamie Floyd.
This weekend, New York City continues to wage war on a deadly enemy. Mayor Rudolph Giuliani has ordered the entire city sprayed with the insecticide malathion. It's a full-scale effort to exterminate mosquitoes spreading encephalitis.
A good deal of the city has now been sprayed.
As baffled health officials scramble to learn how New York City's first ever outbreak of the deadly St. Louis encephalitis started, some experts think they have the answer: global warming.
The U.S. is experiencing climate change, and this instability may be the most important aspect in terms of its consequences for disease.
Global warming leads to extreme weather events, droughts followed by tropical downpours, and provides an ideal breeding ground for disease-carrying mosquitoes.
Mild winters and warm, dry summers are a setup for this disease.
A setup because mosquitoes thrive in hot, humid weather, while their predators, like birds, frogs, and ladybugs, die off in drought. But it's not just encephalitis. This summer, New York also had 2 rare cases of malaria. And it's not just tropical disease. Last week in upstate New York, 2 people died and hundreds fell ill when E. coli spread after heavy rains at the state fair. Rains scientists say caused by rapid global warming.
Heavy, intense rains, lots of flooding, runoff, and this can flush contaminated water or farm waste into clean water supplies.
But other scientists are not yet willing to make the link.
You can't say the climate is causing this outbreak. We cannot, as scientists, say that. We are studying those linkages and relationships.
Still, those who study climate changes hope the incidence of tropical disease cropping up in northern climates will be a wake-up call to the consequences of global warming. Jamie Floyd, ABC News, New York.
A new round of bad weather is gathering strength off the coast of Florida. Residents are stocking up on supplies and bracing for Hurricane Floyd. The storm has just been upgraded to a Category 4 hurricane with winds of 140 miles per hour. We spoke earlier with meteorologist Max Mayfield, who is tracking the storm from the National Hurricane Center. We asked him to give us the status report.
Well, I can tell you where it is right now. The difficulty is going to be in telling you where it's going to go. Right now, it's centered about 40 miles east of the central Bahamas and moving a little bit north to due west. This is a very dangerous Category 3 hurricane at this time. The maximum sustained winds are about 125 miles per hour. That makes it a Category 3 on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale. The NOAA aircraft reports and the Air Force reports that we're getting are indicating that the pressure is dropping, and we are forecasting this to become a Category 4 hurricane, which means it's becoming even stronger here. That makes it as strong as hurricane. If it makes it to that strength, it'll be a Category 4 hurricane like Andrew in 1992. If it does strike the United States coastline, the damage could be extreme.
Thank you very much, Max Mayfield from the National Hurricane Center. Still ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday, presidential candidates turn to a different medium to shape their message on the campaign trail. And a costly day in the NFL as an all-pro quarterback is lost for the season.
This is World News Tonight, Sunday. Brought to you by the all-new 2000 LeSabre by Buick.
The new LeSabre, we didn't just look to research numbers or test scores. We also took a good look at your family. Introducing the all-new 2000 LeSabre, re-engineered with more safety features than any other car in its class. The new 2000 LeSabre by Buick.
Oh yeah, I'm on a seafood diet. I see food, I eat it. But thanks to Healthy Choice, I've got a nutritional guardian angel. Like the roast chicken. All the fixins, only 6 grams of fat. What is that, like a sit-up? Healthy Choice. Figured it out. Chicken breast, smothered in a mushroom wine sauce, veggies, so fresh tasting, they bite back. It's a plate full of good eating. There's no room for extra salt and fat. Choose Healthy Choice. How easy is that?
If you can do this, you can make wood beautiful with Minwax. And if you can do this, you can give wood lasting protection. Turning a house into a beautiful home is as easy as turning to Minwax.
Out here, am I supposed to say, slow down, I'm constipated? I don't think so. So I rely on doctor-recommended Metamucil. Works with my body, gently, which is important to a sensitive guy like myself.
There's a stop on the long road to the presidency that has become a regular part of the campaign trail, the bookstore. The story from ABC's Andrea McCarran.
Today, conservative Pat Buchanan was the latest presidential hopeful to roll out a new book and kick off a high-profile publicity tour.
Good luck to you in the campaign, Senator.
Thank you. We're having fun.
This weekend in New Hampshire, where the state's presidential primary is still 5 months away, John McCain continued on his successful book tour.
We monitor Amazon.com every 3 to 4 minutes.
Among the Republican presidential candidates alone, 4 have newly released books: Buchanan, Steve Forbes, Dan Quayle, and McCain. Strategists say books that tell personal stories instead of selling political platforms may be more beneficial to the candidates. McCain's book is the dramatic story of his years as a prisoner of war in Vietnam.
At the end of the year, if I've seen the McCain book, for example, has sold a lot, I'm willing to bet that there may be a lot of votes coming for John McCain.
2 other candidates are still writing: Alan Keyes and frontrunner George W. Bush, whose book is due out in November. But some in the industry believe Bush may expose himself to more questions about his past.
If I were George W. and 20 points ahead and having raised all the money in the world, I would not do this book.
The onslaught of new books is another indication that the political season is starting earlier than ever, and the candidates are soaking up the extra publicity.
Often they can do so at the publisher's expense, since the Federal Election Commission has no formal rule about who picks up the tab for a book tour by a presidential candidate. Andrea McCarran, ABC News, Washington.
Still ahead, life or death decisions in Arizona. Why doctors are refusing to treat this mentally ill prisoner on death row.
If you think St. John's Bed clothing feels good on your body, wait till you feel what it does for your head. All the pocket zippers and hoods you need to go gently down life's stream. St. John's Bay, clothes that fit your state of mind. Every day's the weekend in St. John's Bay, only at JCPenney.
If you were the last person left on Earth, would you still do sit-ups? Would you diet if you gained a few pounds? What if you discovered there was one other person left on Earth with you? Would you like to change your answers? Introducing the all-new 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse, nicely equipped at 17.7. Because you're not alone.
Opening arguments start at 9:30 whether this arthritis pain goes away or not. So I took Advil liquid gels. Nothing's been proven stronger on arthritis pain. They're the only pain reliever with liquid inside. Advil liquid gels, stronger than pain.
Oh, I should have used Preparation H. Cool it fast. Introducing Preparation H Cooling Gel. Cools on contact for fast relief. New Preparation H Cooling Gel cools on contact.
Are you ready? Ready to spend more time living and less time ironing? Then get new wrinkle-reducing Downy Premium Care. It's going to change the way you feel about your clothes. It has clear, natural enhancers that help reduce wrinkles. So right out of the dryer, your clothes are more ready to wear, which leaves you ready to live. And for less than a penny a garment, why let wrinkles stand in your way? New Downy Premium Care, ready to wear.
An important hearing takes place in Arizona this week that pits medicine and law against each other. A state psychiatrist has refused to provide comprehensive treatment to a death row inmate in order to save his life. ABC's Judy Muller reports.
Open up 47. Claude Matarrana has been sentenced to die for a brutal murder. In 1990, he and a friend lured a teenage boy into the desert where they shot and stabbed him. But since then, Matarrana has been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and by law, he cannot be executed until he's restored to mental competency. Dr. Jerry Dennis, the state psychiatrist assigned to the case, refuses to do that.
The Code of Ethics of the American Medical Association is very clear that this would be an unethical practice to restore somebody to competency for the purpose of execution.
So for now, Dennis treats Matarrana with only enough medication to keep him calm, not enough to make him well.
What would you be using if you were going to treat him completely?
I would be using these medications, which are atypical antipsychotic medications.
Dr. Dennis is not the only doctor at the state mental hospital who feels such treatment would be unethical.
There's no member of this medical staff that's willing to take on this responsibility.
Where does that leave you?
It leaves me between the rock and the hard place.
The state hospital's administrator placed this ad in Arizona newspapers in search of any psychiatrist willing to carry out the state's order, to no avail. The state prosecutor, meanwhile, has run out of patience.
We are going to ask the court to ensure that the doctor follows the law in the state of Arizona, meaning that they treat him, Matarrana, and restore him to competency as required under the Arizona statutes.
And if they refuse?
Then we will ask for an order to show cause why the doctor should not be held in contempt.
Now, I could lose my job for not providing the treatment. If I provide it, I could be sanctioned in a way that then I would not be allowed to practice at all. So then I couldn't do my job either.
In 1986, the Supreme Court ruled that states cannot execute inmates who are mentally incompetent. It's not a difficult test. To be judged competent, inmates must be able to understand that they've been convicted of a capital crime and that they're going to die.
He doesn't understand at all. And he doesn't even understand he's on death row because of the crime.
Matarrana's attorney would like to see his death sentence commuted to life in prison, even though Arizona law does not currently allow for that. Then the doctors could treat him.
They are supposed to help people and to cure people. They're not supposed to kill people. And we're asking them to go against everything they've been trained to do. It's just wrong.
Meanwhile, Matarrana remains in isolation, both physically and mentally, stuck in the limbo between medicine and the law. Judy Muller, ABC News, Phoenix.
There are new details tonight in the JonBenét Ramsey murder case. ABC News has learned that law enforcement authorities believed from the first day that JonBenét's parents, John and Patsy Ramsey, were suspects in the murder. In an exclusive interview, ABC's Elizabeth Vargas talked with Linda Arndt, the first detective at the scene of the crime, about the suspicions of the FBI and the Boulder police.
They told me about the ransom note and the legal pad that had been obtained from the house, which contained handwriting samples from John and Patsy Ramsey, and how this information put the focus onto the Ramseys.
They suspected the Ramseys were involved?
Yes.
And they told you that?
Yes.
And what was your reaction?
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
You can watch the rest of Elizabeth Vargas's exclusive interview with Detective Linda Arndt all this week on Good Morning America. Still ahead, the NFL's opening day is marred by a season-ending injury to a top quarterback.
The first flurries are just weeks away, and when your deck is covered with snow, you'll be happy to know it's also covered with Thompson's Wood Protector. After all, it's the most powerful Thompson's yet. Thompson's Wood Protector. It never takes a day off.
It's time for your heartburn to kick in because your heartburn relief gave out. It happens 2 or more days a week, even though you've treated it and changed your diet. That frequent, persistent heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease, potentially serious.
It's Prilosec time. Time to see your doctor about prescription Prilosec. Your results may vary, but for many people, Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief with 1 daily dose. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours of complete heartburn relief is possible. It's Prilosec time.
It's never too early to share in your child's education. Gateway makes a PC with an extra kid-friendly keyboard and learning software for very young minds. Call us and get a Gateway Kid Builder PC with an Intel Celeron processor for just $949.
Oh, the agony some minivans put us through. Not Chevy Venture. It adapts to just about any situation. Chevy Venture offers more rear cargo room than Dodge Grand Caravan and easy flip and fold seats for even more room, which leaves you more time to enjoy life and others room for improvement. Chevy Venture. Let's go. Get a 99 Chevy Venture for 0% APR financing or $1,500 cash back. See your Chevy dealer today.
Turning now to sports news, our colleague at ESPN Sports Center, Dan Patrick, is here with some painful news for 2 NFL teams. Dan?
Thank you, Carol. Second week of September brings about the first week of the NFL season, and a season that begins with the Patriots and the Jets, and a season that has ended for Vinny Testaverde. Second quarter, Testaverde carted off after rupturing his Achilles tendon trying to recover a fumble. He's out for the season. Fourth quarter, 7 seconds to go. Adam Vinatieri, and that's your ball game. Patriots by 2. Panthers and the Saints, second quarter, Ricky Williams, his day's done. He would not return. He re-aggravated his sprained ankle. Billy Joe Hobart to Keith Poole, 67 yards. The Saints pick up the victory by a final of 19-10. Switching to baseball, Roger Clemens facing his old team, looking for his 13th win. In the 8th, tied at 1, Darren Lewis gets sawed off. Bernie Williams can't come up with it. That brings the go-ahead run in, Trot Nixon, and the Red Sox sweep. Sammy Sosa still sitting on 59. He would not get number 60, but he would get a couple of base hits. As the Cubs and the Astros hook up in the Astrodome, Sammy goes 2 for 4 as the Cubs do what else but lose. One final note, Venus and Serena Williams teamed up to win the U.S. Open Women's Doubles Championship today. That's it in sports. Carol, now back to you.
Thanks. ESPN's Dan Patrick. Still ahead, the new hairstyle that's much more than a fashion statement.
Why do I have Aflac insurance on top of my regular health insurance? Because she throws like a boy and dances like an angel. Because we've shared the same heartbeat. And because Aflac helps cover what other insurance doesn't. If I'm sick, Aflac even provides cash to help pay bills. So why do I have Aflac? Because I have her. Aflac supplemental insurance. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Now an important tool to defend yourself against heart disease and some cancers is in your hands. Because now studies confirm that eating whole grain foods like Total, Wheaties, and Cheerios as part of a low-fat diet may reduce your risk of heart disease and certain cancers. Most cereals are not whole grain, but all of these from General Mills are. Look for this seal to be sure and help defend yourself against heart disease and cancer.
All mascaras curl, ours goes further. Introducing Olay's new Beauty Mascara. Our comb-like brush curls and detangles, while our vitamin-enriched formula gives your lashes volume and lift that lasts all day. From Olay Cosmetics. That's the beauty of it.
My feet are killing me.
You need new Podiasin Soak and Massage Gel. Only Podiasin dissolves in water for instant pain relief, then rubs into open pores for deep, lasting relief.
The pain is gone.
New Podiasin Soak and Massage Gel.
I know Kel Champanet.
She was the first detective at the Ramsey house, the only officer there when the body was found. Now, the most compelling interview since this story broke will change the way you view this case. Good Morning America, Monday.
Finally tonight, bald is more than just beautiful to the men and women of Westminster, Colorado. As ABC's Tom Foreman reports, it has become a beautiful statement of solidarity.
For a year and a half, 18-year-old Brian Couch has been battling a rare form of muscle cancer. Chemotherapy has made his hair fall out. He often feels terrible and is embarrassed about his appearance.
I just want to beat this disease and get over with it. I'm so sick of doing this.
His father, Jim, a police officer, had an idea. Why not shave his own head? It was no sacrifice if it would make his boy feel a little less odd, a little better.
My kids and my wife mean the most to me of anything in the world. And it's probably not, I know it's not right to say or not proper to say, but I'd probably sign a contract with the devil if I could make things different.
Then a most extraordinary thing happened. Another officer got his head shaved.
Oh my God, there it goes.
Then another. And another. Soon, 80 members of the police and fire departments were showing Brian Couch he is not alone.
All of us have been touched by cancer in one way or another, so it's a good way for us to express our support.
I hope it doesn't all grow back gray.
Elaine Festing from the records department went under the razor.
There needed to be a gal, and if I needed to be the one, then so be it.
It's neat how everyone came together, and it's nice to see that there's more than one bald head out there now.
Brian still has a long way to go, many months of treatment, but doctors are now giving him a 90% chance for a full recovery.
I see a lot of ugly heads, but I see a lot of beautiful people, and I thank you a whole lot.
So take a picture of Caring in this suburban town.
Look over here.
And you'll find it wears a badge and a bald head. Tom Foreman, ABC News, Westminster, Colorado.
Lovely story. That's our report for tonight. Tomorrow, be sure to watch Good Morning America, which will be broadcasting from their brand new studios in Times Square. I'm Carol Simpson. For all of us here at ABC News, have a good week and good night.
He raised the bar for lawyers on television. He also raised their skirts. Now the creator of The Practice and Ally McBeal takes private eyes to a whole new level. David Kelly's Snoops, ABC in 2 weeks.
Well, this is new.